Why do you sense, Nirja, is there and this growing divide among the worldview of the Gen Z and the older generations? Perhaps one can argue that there was always some gap between generations, but do you sense that it's maybe increasingly wider than any other generations of the past between them and the older generations?
Absolutely. Nikhil, we talk about technology, we talk about social media, all the different aspects of the younger generation's lives, but really below this, pinning them all, underpinning them all is the worldview. And what's happening is that from ritual, the simplest way of putting it, we meaning human beings, we have gone from ritual to reason to relative. That's what's happened. So it's not as so anybody is to blame. There were circumstances, there was a reason why we were making the choices we were making. And the only way we can improve our communication is by understanding. And to do that, we have to first understand why those divides happened in the first place. So, what are the three worldviews that we are talking about? Let's talk about the first one. It is the pre modern thought. What was happening back then? There were rituals, it was shaped by rituals, and not just for centuries, Nikhil, for absolutely millenniums. And it covered the entire agricultural age. And those days, the decisions were made on what our ancestors did. And where did that lead us? They were formed, our beliefs were formed, we were getting them from our grandparents, and science played a very, very small role at that time. And remember, people who were saying that the earth is not flat, it's round, they were being lynched. There was witch hunting going on. And life was not so much about common sense as about common practice, let's say. And from this, the next worldview emerged. That was the post-World War, actually the time of Renaissance, Enlightenment. That was the age of what we call reason. And science became supreme. Evidence-based decisions. Remember, even in school, we would do experiments. Everything had to have an aim, a procedure, then there had to be a conclusion, proof, all of that. Now, we were looking for analytical, objective truth at that time. But that boxed us in a certain manner into just fact-based reasoning, and emotions got a little left out. Now along come our next generation. And what happens by then? They find that the definition of life that the modern philosophy was giving us was too narrow and too rigid. And postmodern thought now began to push relativism. Everything became relative. You have your truth, Nikhil. I have my truth. And our young generation, they have their truth. So individual experience is what you base your thoughts on now. So subjective opinion, spiritual perception, beliefs. I've got mine, you've got yours. You don't tell me what to do. And there's a lot of gray. Not everything is black and white. So in this postmodern world, relative worldviews, what's happening is they don't stand on any absolute truth. And because there is a scarcity of absolute truth, there's also a scarcity of security.
Yeah.
And that makes the younger generation anxious. They don't have too much to kind of hook upon or draw their sense of optimism from. And that leads to all kinds of anxieties and sometimes negative emotions like resentment, confusion, mental health issues. And that is what is causing the divide, because we are shaped by the times that we lived in. So that it's important to understand where each generation is coming from and why they are a particular way and why they are divided now. It's because of these three distinct worldviews.